An ex-Air Base worker has made astonishing claims about a military cover-up of the Roswell incident. It was summer of 1947 when perhaps the most controversial of all UFO incidents took place at a ranch near Roswell, New Mexico. Indeed, the intrigue surrounding this event continues to this day more than 70 years later. Some regard the Roswell incident as a subject of conspiracy cranks. Meanwhile, others see it as evidence that the U.S. government has secrets that it wants to keep from its own populace. The actual events around Roswell in those summer weeks of 1947 are somewhat murky, to say the least, but the whole thing seems to have started when one William Brazel, a farmhand foreman at the Foster homestead near Roswell, found some unidentified wreckage about 30 miles north of the town. The July 8, 1947 edition of the Roswell Daily Record ran with the front page headline, "RAAF captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell region." The RAAF was the Roswell Army Airfield, which certainly did exist in 1947. Indeed, it's still there today, but renamed the Walker Air Force Base. And the RAAF had issued a press release about the disc that Brazel had found. The RAAF press release went on to say, "The many rumors regarding the flying disc became a reality yesterday when the intelligence office of the 509th Bomb Group of the 8th Air Force, Roswell Army Airfield, was fortunate enough to gain possession of a disc through the cooperation of one of the local ranchers and the sheriff's offices of Chavez County. The flying object landed on a ranch near Roswell sometime last week." As it turns out, it seems this disc rapidly became a flying saucer in the fevered imaginings of the press and a credulous public. The debris that Brazel had stumbled upon actually consisted of a large area of bright wreckage made up of rubber strips, tinfoil, a rather tough paper, and sticks, he told the Roswell Daily Record, which doesn't sound much like a flying saucer. But an enterprising reporter at the Record had found some more witnesses, Mr. and Mrs. Dan Wilmot. The July 8th piece reported that the couple apparently were the only persons in Roswell who saw what they thought was a flying disc. They were sitting on their porch at 105 South Penn last Wednesday night at about 10 o'clock when a large glowing object zoomed out of the sky from the southeast, going in a northwesterly direction at a high rate of speed. The report went on to say that Mr. Wilmot reckoned the disc had been in sight for something less than 1 minute. He believed that it had been flying at up to 500 miles per hour and had an altitude of 1,500 feet. It resembled two inverted saucers faced mouth to mouth. It was about 1,500 to 20 feet in diameter. The Roswell Daily Record also took the trouble to describe Mr. Wilmot as one of the most respected and reliable citizens in town. It almost makes you think that the reporter might have suspected that the flying disc story might take some swallowing, so it was necessary to confirm Wilmot's credibility. After the initial sensation of the Roswell press reports, the incident was largely forgotten for about some 30 years. But interest was rekindled in the late 1970s, at a time when the public seems to have regained its appetite for stories about extraterrestrials and their spaceships. Self-styled UFO researchers started to publish accounts from people purporting to have witnessed the events surrounding the Roswell incident. Books were now published claiming that not only had the mysterious government figures retrieved a crashed alien spaceship, but they had also taken possession of dead aliens killed in the crash. The first book to come out with these allegations was The Roswell Incident, 1980, by Charles Berlitz and William Moore, published in 1980. The Moore and Berlitz book was seemingly certain of its facts, with the authors asserting that they'd interviewed more than 90 witnesses. Their story was that an alien spaceship had been spying on the U.S. military's nuclear program. The craft was struck by lightning, causing it to crash. The aliens perished in the craft, and the American government had decided to keep these events secret. Amazingly, even President Obama found himself dragged into the Roswell story. In the course of a 2015 interview with GQ magazine, Obama was asked if he'd spent time pursuing top-secret files. He replied, "I gotta tell you, it's a little disappointing. People always ask me about Roswell and the aliens and UFOs, and it turns out the stuff going on that's top secret isn't nearly as exciting as you'd expect. In this day and age, it's not as top secret as you'd think." And then in 2016, along came a certain Raymond Zemansky with his book 50 Shades of Grays, evidence of extraterrestrial visitation to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and beyond. Notice how he has cleverly played on the title of the sexually explicit blockbuster E.L. James' 2011 50 Shades of Grey. But surely only the worst kind of cynic would think that Szymanski was trying to whip up interest in his book by piggybacking on James's bestseller. Now described as an extraterrestrial researcher, Szymanski says that he worked as a senior engineer at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio for 39 years. And during that time, he was privy to many of the U.S. government's darkest UFO secrets. These secrets include the clandestine operation and cover-up that came in the aftermath of the Roswell incident. While working at Wright-Patterson, Szymanski had a friend and mentor called Al, and he was the man that revealed the secrets of the base. Speaking to UK tabloid The Sun in September 2017, Szymanski recalled, he, Al, said that in 1947 there was a crash down in Roswell and they brought the machines and the aliens here for inspections and said they keep them in secret tunnels under the base. I was stunned, Szymanski continued. Me, a young co-op student, barely in his first week, was now initiated into a small group of 10,000 people and given their most incredible secret ever, that we have aliens and their craft in our tunnels on our base. Some might wonder how 10,000 people, not that small of a group, managed to keep these government secrets for so many years. Szymanski said that he had seen the storage areas, a network of tunnels and chambers prepared to stash aliens and wreckage. But although he says he's seen those secret underground facilities at Wright-Patterson, he claims he's never seen an alien. The retired scientist has also asserted his belief that the Dayton Air Force Base has 4 secret sites. In those are buried the remains of dead aliens. One place is under the car park of which he calls the Foreign Technologies Division for UFO Reverse Engineering. If there is such a division, it's too secret to appear on any government website. For some, that simply confirms its existence. You might ask why the US government has decided to keep all this alien activity secret. Szymanski has an answer. He told The Sun, "We still aren't ready for full disclosure. The governments like to keep secrets because that's what keeps us safe sometimes. I really don't see a change. I don't think the fact that we have cell phones or 150,000 cable TV channels will make us any more prepared than the people were in 1947 after Roswell." An alternative explanation for the Roswell incident does in fact exist. What crashed near Roswell was in fact a scientific monitoring balloon. The debris that William Brazel found in 1947 was the remains of the balloon, but the government did lie about it. The balloon was actually designed to monitor nuclear tests, but the government claimed it was merely a weather balloon. And this cover-up has been fertile ground for conspiracists ever since. Remember though, the truth is out there.